Yeah, when they ship a new feature, they basically ping me in our Discord, and I literally dive in immediately and I start playing with all the buttons, all the nooks and crannies, and I don't let them tell me anything about the new features, and I want to see if I figure it out myself, because it's pretty bold to assume that customers are gonna read each of your release notes, and I want to understand if the customer can understand the new functionality by themselves completely.
Hello, my name is Toomas, and I am today's host for this Talent Product Group podcast episode. Today we are having an extremely interesting chat with Markus Palm, who is from Featurebase. It's a very refreshing discussion of learning how young startup founders think, and I really hope that you like today's show. So if you do so, please remember to like and subscribe. So, hi Markus, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
So let's get cracking and tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you do? Who is Markus Palm?
So Markus Palm is a regular dude from Estonia. I'm 21 years old, and yeah, why I'm here talking with you is because we're just doing a startup with my two friends, so the three of us, and yeah, that startup has started to do pretty well. We're still the three of us, like three co-founders. We have 50K MRR, and we're fully bootstrapped, so we haven't taken any money yet, at least. And we have 600 paying customers and like about 2,000 weekly active users. And yeah, like, who is Markus Palm? I don't know. Probably like just a guy who's super curious about new stuff. Like, that's the main thing I fall back to every time when somebody asks something about me. Is that the only thing I can tell you, like, factually, is that I'm just too curious for my own good. My grandma used to tell me when I was a little child that my curiosity will kill me one day. I don't know why she told me such a bad sentence, but yeah, I've been super curious since day one.
So at the moment you're studying, doing your bachelor's at the side, doing Featurebase, and how how did you end up in Featurebase and
Yeah, so I was studying my high school, and since the first grade, I was studying in Rocca al Mare school in Estonia, and uh, there was like an elective course that we could take that was about entrepreneurship, and I already pretty much knew that this is what interests me, because I don't know, I was just pretty entrepreneurial from the beginning. I like to sell stuff and I like to like advertise stuff. I don't know how, but I liked it. And um, and then my mother started a dance school in Estonia, and it was like a Latin dance school. And like, starting a Latin dance school in Estonia is like level 100 difficulty because nobody in Estonia wants to like move their hips around, especially men, because you need men to these classes as well. And she needed people there. We had like a really good teacher straight from Cuba, who's like a natural like a salsa dancer and stuff like that. So we had like a really good product, but we didn't have distribution. Coming back to all the core problems, and she, I was like 16, 17 or something like that, I don't know. And she like basically like she was too busy to do all that stuff by herself. So she was like, "Oh, Markus, you seem, I know you pretty well, and you seem like you would be interested in marketing. Come with me, like, to this random marketing, like how do you say, course, or like there was some guy doing a presentation about marketing, like Facebook ads." And so I went with her. I learned what is Facebook ads, and I basically started doing Facebook ads to her, and she trusted me with some pretty decent budget to kind of get people to that stand school. And it kind of worked, kind of didn't, probably because you just can't convince Estonians too much to go to these classes if they don't want to. But the ads themselves worked well. And yeah, I was like, oh, shit, man, this is pretty interesting for me, and that's probably what I want to do. And so when the school ended, also like did forgot to mention that since the first grade, me and my co-founders were together as well in the same class. So we all started the school in the same grade. So we have known each other for like 15 plus years, and we are only 21. So basically, like whole life. And we did a student company as well together. After my mom's like the dance school stuff, we did a student company where we sold websites to people. And so my co-founders, they were building the websites, they are developers, and I started marketing and selling and doing like outreach. And it was a super good experience of like working together as well outside of school, like on actual business stuff. And it kind of confirmed to us that yeah, we can do that stuff. And but after the school ended, so I thought that I need more experience before I'm going to do entrepreneurship, because I really knew that I wanted to do my own company. But I thought that like let's go to, I don't know, Bolt and Wise, and like learn something from there before, like from the really smart people, before I do my own stuff. I didn't end up in Bolt or Wise, obviously, straight after high school. So I went to like a marketing agency. This was a pretty good side quest, but I didn't learn too much from there. And so my co-founders basically had started an MVP of like Featurebase in the meanwhile, and they basically lobbied me out of that agency and said like, please join us, do marketing for us, and let's make that thing happen. And it was a super like complicated story, but this is where I ended up in Featurebase basically.
So today you have Featurebase. How long ago did you start the company? And as I understand, you joined the company like a year later, where they had already been building the product, but didn't get any revenue. And then you came in, and how did it all start?
Yeah, so Bruno and Robbie launched the first MVP of Featurebase in January 2021. Uh, and they basically didn't get any initial traction, and they just left it on the shelf. It wasn't nearly anything that anybody would use, I believe, and they understand it now as well. And but they were still finishing high school. We had like high school exams coming up, so they just left it on the shelf. We lived our own lives. They started picking up on other projects, and then they kind of fell back to feature base because they got like two clients there or something like that, and they were like, okay, let's do feature base. And the year is 2022 now, and it's Christmas, so December. So exactly 2 years ago from now, basically, at the time of the recording, I finally joined them. So this is what I believe is the starting date of Featurebase, actually, because before that they didn't really like do it in a way that you would do a startup. So December 2022 is when we actually started doing it like focused and going all in. And yeah, was there anything else to the question?
As I understand, so 2022. So you finished high school in May, and then in during the Christmas time, uh, they were like, "Okay, we need you, Marcus." How long did they have to smooch you, so
They
to
tried to
get you on
smooch
board?
me. They tried to smooch me. I think sometime immediately after the high school, but I already like went to that media agency internship, and I thought that I really need the experience first. And then we all entered like universities in September. They went to study computer science, and I went to study business administration. And like they smooched me like a month or so, and I pretty much folded immediately because I didn't like attend, because I didn't like the marketing agency experience too much. And I was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna come and try that stuff with you, whatever. Like we're still in universities anyway, so that's the prime time to take risks. So
In hindsight, was it a good decision to start with the internship, or should you have jumped right away, or things happen when they should happen? kind of.
I think everything happened as it should have happened. I'm pretty big believer of like everything went as it needed to go. Uh, I think thanks to that internship, I'm the only one of us that even has the closest experience of what is working at a real company, because none of us had a real job before to this day, and so it's kind of beneficial to know how other people actually work in real world, because when you sell to them, you kind of need to understand the dynamics. Um, but like joining the Featurebase and like going away from the agency was like the best decisions I've made so far in my life, I'd say.
How do you tend to keep the mentality that you have, which is completely fresh in the sense of, yes, you learn from the books and podcasts and whatnot, but you haven't felt or experienced most of it firsthand. So how how do you approach all of those problems that you're having without any background knowledge?
So I think like like the only single answer that I could give is you have to be able to adapt like super fast. Like it's like life or death situation in everything in startup, and I think it plays really good with startup. Like you have to adapt really fast with startup, and you have to adapt really fast in your personal like knowledge. So everything like always happens super fast, and you need to be like I think somebody really smart said it. I don't know, remember who, but like entrepreneur needs to be super opinionated, but they have to be flexible to adapt that opinion when needed. So it's like a paradox situation. You have to be pretty opinionated, and then all of a sudden be willing to compromise on the core beliefs of you if you were proved wrong.
But now today, feature base is well. I would say that you are not in the mode of, if we don't do it today, then we will die, because you already have enough of revenue. There's three of you, and you have 50K MRR, so you kind of have enough revenue. So it kind of the decisions don't matter in that sense, don't that much. But at the same time, it's decisions against your ambition and what you want to do, and making those bets. How are you making those bets and making them still feel like, I don't know, a boss fight?
Dude, like when you described what you described to me right now, it everything seems logical, and yes, we will not die if we make the wrong decisions. But like at the same and it sounded logical, but at the same time it doesn't feel like that actually being here. Like yeah, if we make if you don't make a decision today but tomorrow and we make the wrong decision, potentially we will probably like 99% not die. um but like I don't know, the stress amount for me and the decisions and stuff like that, it doesn't feel that way. So each day we still work like we would fail tomorrow. I don't know why we do that, but it's like our company culture, I would say, with the idea that we are going to fail tomorrow if we don't make the best decisions today. I don't know how we ended up with that culture, but it's how we like work.
This is something which I am struggling, and I think many others are struggling as well. Is the sense of urgency, and how do you create and keep the sense of urgency, as you described, that you think and feel that tomorrow you're going to die if you don't make the decision today, and it better be a good one.
Yeah. So, okay, personally, for me, one of the things is that we don't pay ourselves like salary, basically. We only paid ourselves the salary first time like 2 months ago. And like we were at 40K MRR. We didn't pay ourselves a salary. Okay, granted, our parents are kind of supporting our living because we are still okay, I'm still in university, but it's like nothing much. So we kind of reinvested stuff back into the company, and what we don't reinvest it basically sits on the account because I mean, we are not super lavish ourselves either. We just need the basic living. I need to like be able to buy food. I don't even like order much takeaway. I just cook at home. and that's the one thing, is definitely like not paying ourselves like too much money, because I think you can get really comfortable really quickly. And the other thing is, like, if one of the co-founders is like acting like we're going to die tomorrow, the, then other co-founders get the same feeling, like, oh shit, we are gonna die tomorrow maybe. And like, when you start like thinking like acting like that as well, then it's like amplified for each co-founder. And I think it's just like something, I think Bruno drives it mostly. I think he kind of asserts the feeling of like the decisions matter a lot. and and I have somehow adapted it basically. I don't know how.
As you are thinking of getting new people on board sometime soon, how do you feel? Whether can you export that feeling, or do you think that, well, since if they come to uh, come to work as an employee, then you understand that it's impossible to create such a feeling in them compared to you as the company owners?
Yeah, so I would like to say that I'm pretty empathetic person, and I understand what you may feel. I hope that I am, like, so about your question, the I would not try to force any anxiety or like this type of feeling on an employee if they are not like characteristically like that, because I'm naturally pretty anxious person. I'm like worrying a lot of stuff even if I don't have to. And thanks to this, I think I make really good decisions because I worry too much, I would say. Like, I think over the stuff too much. And if a person is not like that, then I think it would do so much damage forcing that type of mentality on them. And I think we'd have to find a way to either not hire that type of person or be able to work with such persons while still like knowing how to motivate them. So maybe we would take the anxiety part to ourselves, like the decisions like and stuff like that, and maybe they can kind of but then it's micromanaging. I don't know. It's like I said before, hiring questions for me, they are like impossible. These are the only type of questions that keep me up at night nowadays. Like, we need to figure that shit out and fast. But the main answer is that I wouldn't force anything on a person that's not built that way, basically.
With the hiring, Markus Willig was recently, I think he was in 20BC podcast with Harry Stebbings, and he what he said that he made the mistake in hiring the first 10 people, like 7 out of 10 were not the good fit. So I think maybe, just maybe, you can beat his track record.
Yeah,
So
hopefully.
yeah, so the bar is not that high, kind of. You have a tech billionaire who says that they failed the first 10 hires, 7 out of 10. So if you can get the bar a little bit better, I think you're good.
Yeah, I think what makes me comfortable is that like you can hear from everybody that, oh yeah, they were pretty naturally quickly good at coding or whatever. But everything you hear about hiring is even the top level hirers, I don't know, HR, saying that they were like super bad at hiring at first. Everybody says that it's something that you learn, and you may even not learn to hire like good people. Okay, you probably will learn, but yeah, it comforts me that everybody basically says that they were super bad at the beginning. And yeah, we'll see what we will pull out.
And it all comes down to the cycles as well. When if you go to the companies who were in the hyper growth, like Bolt and Pipedrive and Wise, and they were hiring so many people at a so short amount of time. This means that the hiring managers actually got to learn it. If you're hiring one person today, the next one in 6 months, well, how much repetition are you getting from that process, right? So it's going to be an interesting. I'm looking forward to learning what you learn from it. So Can you walk through a little bit about how is Featurebase doing apart from the 50K MRR that you three have put up or created?
Yeah, so yeah, as we mentioned already, it's still the three of us. So no employees, just the three of us. Bruno and Robbie are the developers. I'm the marketer. And yeah, 50K MRR. We're bootstrapped, no funding. We have like more cash than we can handle on our bank account, so it doesn't really make sense to take any funding from at least now. Um, and we have 600 paying customers, and like 2,000 weekly active users, and the churn is actually negative. So we are adding more revenue from upgrades than we are losing from the people churning. So we have like one or two people churning every month. I would say, like, depends on the month. Uh, and yeah, we're like even beating that with the existing customers upgrading to higher plans. So it's life is pretty good. Like there's no holes in the bucket. Bucket is not leaking.
I I think I need to get your contacts for all of the growth product people and growth marketers who are like, what? So if we say two out of 600, so that's 0.3% churn.
Yeah. So and like how the tools calculate the churn is that when somebody upgrades, they kind of calculate the churn back, and so on our dashboards we basically see like negative churn, like nobody like people are we are gaining money, not losing in that sense.
Plus the new customers who are coming in, right?
Oh yeah, that obviously. So yeah,
That's a separate part.
yeah. So how we would describe net negative churn is the fact that if we wouldn't add any customers the next month, we would still grow.
Absolutely crazy. This means that the product itself, as you said, is on a very good level. So how do you make the product decisions? And as if anybody hasn't looked up, Featurebase is kind of doing a product recommendation tool with gimmick, a couple of different gimmicks. But explain. Let's start with explain a little bit what Featurebase looks like today, and
So I think I'd start how we got the idea. So we didn't kind of have that problem ourselves, so to say. Or okay, actually, I wasn't with the company before, like when they made the MVP. So what Bruno and Robbie told me and like how they built the MVP is that they just scrolled Twitter or like X and like internet and like looked hacker news and such and looked like what product would be easy to copy. And since everybody had their revenues like publicly, so they kind of pretty much grasped the like potential of that product, and so they saw like our competitor, like a small competitor that was doing pretty good revenue wise. They were like, okay, that's easy to copy, let's start copying it. And like they kind of could understand that that product wasn't entirely useless, because when they had built that Instagram scraping tool, they already kind of had a problem with the feedback. It was kind of hard to manage, but uh, I don't know. They got the idea of like copying other people, and it was in the beginning. It was just a simple like feature feedback collection and voting tool. So you collect feedback and other your custom like you collect feedback on a kind of a voting board, which looks kind of like a Reddit forum. And there are basically different ideas there that your customers have suggested, and then your other customers are going to that portal and voting on those ideas, what they want to see, and like commenting their extra ideas under those ideas. And so it started like that. And nowadays we have also surveys like CSET and NPS. We have a help center actually now, and we also have roadmaps, change logs, etc. So pretty sophisticated, like a product management tool. And we are going to build a live chat on top of it as like kind of the final module with the plans we have right now. and so it will be even like a more like a customer success and support tool in the end, like competing with Zendesk and Intercom, and it will be pretty exciting.
I saw a couple of first glimpses of the AI chat, which you already. How is that part coming?
Yeah, so I lobbied Bruno so hard for that AI chat. So how our like internal process happens is like okay, Bruno basically is in charge of the product, but obviously like I'm in marketing. I see what our competitors have. I get also like different ideas from seeing what our customers say and like competitors' customers. And I saw that AI chat on our like some of more modern competitors, and I was like, nah, dude, that's exactly like what I would need from a help center point of view, because nobody really wants to read like lengthy articles and like try to understand, even first of all find those articles from the 150 article help center. So the AI search is basically you just go to the search bar, you start searching for an article, but instead of clicking on an article, you just press enter, and the AI summarizes that thing that you're asking for, and it's super good.
Now you have created an product management tool which empowers the product people with data, essentially, and helps them to make better decisions. How much are you using it yourselves? And so it's kind of um, you have you're daily solving your own problem where you need to understand what else to build, and so you're gathering from your own tools the same data.
Yeah, so I would not build a product or market a product that I'm not the target audience myself, at least now. Probably in the future I will. But it's such a convenient thing to do, like to build a product for yourself. And so, yeah, as you mentioned, it's like a matrix loop. We build a feedback tool and we collect feedback with ourselves with it, and then we build a better feedback tool out of it. Uh, how we use Featurebase for how we do product management. So let's kind of put it that way. Bruno drives our vision. I think he's like as the Steve Jobs type of character. In all honesty, he has a good vision, and he basically kind of charges the product development, but we use a lot of our own tool for it as well. So I would say it's like a 50-50 of how much we look at customer feedback for the decisions, and how much we decide for ourselves, like the our own vision of what feature base should be and what that maybe specific module should be in the end. And the feedback also also plays a role in developing our own gut feeling and vision as well. So we collect the feedback. We get a lot of feedback, obviously, because I mean we are a feedback tool, and everybody knows that they can leave us feedback. And since we are, by the way, since we ship so many features each week, people like see that we actually listen to feedback. That's the most important part of collecting feedback. Basically, you have to collect it, and then you have to show people that you're also going to implement it. Otherwise, they will not suggest more feedback, etc. So that's the reason why we get so much feedback. And what we do with it is we don't necessarily look at all the upvotes, because upvotes can be deceiving. You can have 100 upvotes on a feature that's all from free customers, and you can have 2 upvotes on another feature that's from 2 large enterprise customers. So what Featurebase allows you to do is to actually connect customer attributes to the feedback. So we have our revenue connected with the feedback, and when we prioritize feedback, we actually see the total sum of upvoters revenue. So we see that this feature like is has like a total of 2000 MRR for us basically, whereas that the other like with 100 upvotes has like a 50 MRR. Only one paid customer maybe asked for it. So we know what to prioritize in that sense, and we obviously use a lot of feedback actually in reality in the product. Like I would say the large vision is 50-50, like what our customers think they want and what we want. But like smaller features and niches and cracks, they're always basically from our customer requests. Yeah, because why not? Like they are literally telling you what they're missing, and you can like implement it with a day.
How do you solve the feature creep? Because or you're at the moment not at that stage where you have too many things happening and the product is getting overly complicated because, well, in the navigation bar there is 100 different things to do and solve. And
I don't even know if I think we are starting to definitely enter that problem, especially because we ship so much. Like we are literally doing like 3 major updates each week. You would have to check out our changelog. You will probably like uh, faint from the amount of updates we ship. And I think it sometimes can definitely, it can be a double-edged sword. It can get quite complicated for the users as well. Like, so they don't know all the new functionalities, or we try to not change existing stuff too much. So that's good. But how we solve the feature creep is I think I'm pretty critical. I think I'm the most critical in the sense of how hard the tool is to use, because I'm the only non-technical team member. Uh, Bruno and Robbie both are engineers. They are both in the product day in and day out, so they're super like in-depth familiar. They have built everything. So when I come in and I use our product, then I can say like always like, dude, this part is too complicated, and I do a lot of it. And I try to convince them to make stuff easier a lot of the times. But Bruno, because Bruno is on the front end, that's why I'm mentioning him so much in the product stuff. He's a super good designer, so by default everything is super good already. But then I give my third party experience of the UX and complications that we might have.
as you are setting it up for Featurebase, so you're setting up the tool for yourself and so getting it to work, and then understanding that, hey guys, this is not working, or this is working, and but I don't understand it, why and how.
Yeah, when they ship a new feature, they basically ping me in our Discord, and I literally dive in immediately and I start playing with all the buttons, all the nooks and crannies, and I don't let them tell me anything about the new features, and I want to see if I figure it out myself, because it's pretty bold to assume that customers are gonna read each of your release notes, and I want to understand if the customer can understand the new functionality by themselves completely. So if I don't understand anything, immediately like asking them, and maybe we're doing some revisions, and that it's like super good, because at the same time I'm also writing the docs for that feature, so I get to know that feature. I write the docs as I see it and as I can, like, yeah. So it's good.
You mentioned Discord, and this is so you have quite a lot of product parts which are about community, creating the product review board and upvoting there and discussions, whatnot. Why did you make the decision of starting also a Discord server and the community there? Isn't the product itself already kind of going
Yeah,
for the same point?
yeah. So Discord even has a similar feature now, that you can like collect feedback kind of in a forum way, which is like in a sense makes us competitors. But we actually have a lot of customers that their part of the feature collection side, feedback collection side, is not intuitive at all. So customers basically have tried it and came to Featurebase. So we don't look at each other as like competitors. But on your point about the community stuff, then Featurebase is not so much like a regular community forum. It's like strictly for feedback, I would say. Like nobody really uses it for like regular free chats. But the Discord kind of gives us the behind the scenes look to our team, and you can like rant with us about anything, whereas in Featurebase you would kind of rant in the comments of a feature request. So it's not exactly like a free flowing community. We have had that decision, by the way, to make like a more like a forum approach, but our mentality with it was that no large no large company or like larger company actually wants a community just for random rants. This is only for like small companies. They want the community to get feedback and to understand problems, and Discord for that is too unstructured. and so we decided to leave it at like a feature place for feature requests and feedback community.
As I understand that, as when you're making your product decisions, you have spoken through what the product vision is in the next 6 months or a year or 2 years, kind of, however long it takes. But seeing that you ship 3 times per week with major updates, maybe it's only 2 months vision. The, you're taking like customer feedback in the sense to make the tactical decisions, not the strategic ones. What so? But what is the longer and bigger vision? Where do you expect to be in a year or two?
So we definitely use customer feedback in the sense for the longer vision as well, but it just translates into our gut feeling. So we are not executing a specific customer request probably for the long vision because there's no such request, so to say. But vision is still like developed partly from customer feedback as well. Uh, the vision right now is to build the live chat module as well and like a ticketing system, because a lot of the feedback collection part is kind of tied around the live chat stuff, and we have like intercom integration and Zendesk integration that they can push feedback from there to the feedback boards, but it's not close to perfect. So, and a lot of our customers want the live chat stuff from us as well. We have confirmed it, and the vision is to build that and have like a complete ecosystem basically for like a product manager and support teams to basically have all of the data and ideas connected together. So all of the chats have your customer data in it, so you know who you're speaking to. Or you see their feature requests and feedback from the side. They see from the same place all of your stuff, like they see your roadmap, they see your updates, they can talk to you via chat. So if you use a service that we have, for example, then you can make a survey. Would you like, maybe we have like a survey, how satisfied are you with our help center module? And so if they say that they are not satisfied, they will be asked like what can be improved. And if they say that I don't understand this stuff at all, then when we have the live chat module, you can basically click on that guy, on that message, and you can literally follow up with them. Oh, by the way, I noticed that you don't understand how this works, like here's how. And when they're in your app, they just get a notification bubble, and when they're not in your app, they get an email about it, and everything is like seamlessly connected with each other. So that's the ultimate vision right now. I think live chat connects everything perfectly, like as the final piece of the puzzle.
And then it's all about getting to the nitty gritty details and adjusting it to have it better and better and better every day, right?
Yeah, I mean, live chat is like a super large thing, like you can see from the intercom. We'll definitely not like build all the unnecessary stuff, and we will decide what we build. But as of now, like till the year end, we are perfecting the existing modules. We want them to be kind of close to perfect, so that customers can handle the weeks that we don't ship 3 updates a week, and while we're working on building the live chat widget, so everything else works perfectly in the meanwhile.
What has been the decision of doing uh, well 3 times per week major updates compared to creating, I don't know, a monthly deploy to actually market and get better feedback on it?
So I think if we would do monthly, then there would be just way too many updates in a single post for anyone to care. Uh, so that's why we are like kind of making the updates as we ship the features. Also, the fact that when the feature is out, you kind of want to explain what it is. And so our change log, when we make that update, our change log automatically sends like an email to everybody. And we have like an in-app pop-up that shows like, oh, wow, welcome back to Featurebase when they log in. And like, here's the new update that we made. You can check it out from here. And that actually lets you collect better feedback because you get feedback for each of those updates separately. But we also have a monthly newsletter where we sum up all the updates, because maybe for some people it's too overwhelming to have like 3 updates each week. They don't have time to read those, and they can unsubscribe and they can only see the monthly updates. So that's both best of both worlds, so to say. Why we're doing 3 updates a week is simply the fact that it works for Bruno and Robbie. Like it works for our team. It doesn't work for every team. They like we would probably sometimes benefit more from like more power in marketing, but we have just tried it out, and marketing for them is just like a waste of their talent and time. And what works for us is them being on the product, and they just simply ship so much because they love sitting in the code and building new stuff. Yeah, and we need
Uh,
that new stuff as well. They're not building random stuff.
yeah, absolutely. But it's looking from the customer perspective, and trying to understand a little bit. How are you making sure that your customers are not getting exhausted, and are they using it as often as I don't know, a bank card in the grocery shopping, so that they have the personal attachment and they feel that, okay, yes, the updates, yes, I like this, no, no, I'm gonna give feedback, this I don't like, this creating too much clutter. Like, do they have the daily intake of Featurebase, so that's why you're making the update so fast, or so often?
Yeah, so our customers are using Featurebase at least 2 times a week, maybe 3. Some are using every day. So the dashboard part is super, super important because they're spending much time on their dashboards. And the live portal, live forum view is equally as important because they may have like a million visitors to that every month. So both parts are important, and it's exactly as you described. You have a product that you use daily, and when you see it like progress in a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way, like improve so much and like build exact the things that you have asked for or wanted to see, you're so pleasantly surprised. And that's what we see from our customers as well. Like half of our testimonials are like mentioning the intuitivity of our product and the amount of updates that we ship in a positive way. So that's the main thing that our customers themselves are telling their friends to sell us to them, and that just confirms that we're doing things right. There's no much like thought behind it. Just yeah, if you have a product that you use every day and you will love the updates. You will love when it's improved. Like for example, it's easy to relate for me with Notion because I use Notion every day for my personal life, for my work stuff, and I think they're doing updates also pretty frequently for this size of a company. And in LinkedIn, I always see their updates, and it's like a Christmas for me. Every time I see their updates on LinkedIn, even if I don't use it like right away, I'm like a little child at Christmas. I'm unboxing a new functionality to my favorite tool, and I think that's how a lot of our customers feel as well.
That's funny in the sense that you mentioned that even for the size of these companies, you would assume that they having employed 3,000 engineers and you having employed two, um, they would be able to move a little bit faster. Um,
Yeah, press X to doubt.
yeah, that's so. Coming to the distribution part, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, um, you joined the company and you started doing distribution. Before that, Bruno and Robbie didn't do much of the distribution part and were kind of stuck. How how did it like? How did you kickstart it, and how did you get the first 10, 20 customers and the ball started rolling from there?
So first of all, what definitely before everything else, what started helping with distribution is that Bruno and Robbie didn't have to spend time on that, so they could spend time on the product actually. so the product was improving, so it was easier to do the distribution. But how we got our first customers was basically completely manually. We didn't have any onboarding stuff. We have to do everything manually in the beginning, and we got them from like emailing people. Some of them we had emailed to, and some of them we got like from, we had like done some hacker news posts and like stuff like, hey guys, we are at 500 MRR or like 300 MRR. And some of the early adopters like uh, explore those hacker news and product hunt places a lot. So they kind of discovered us from there. Kind of got them pretty magically, but still pretty much doing things that don't scale. And going forward from that, since we already like kind of started getting feedback from them, I came in, and the first thing I knew I wanted to do from distribution side was create ads, Google ads, because if somebody has, it's the kind of no-brainer place to start because it has the higher intent of purchase. When somebody is already searching for a feedback tool, they are kind of looking for a feedback tool. For what reason? They're not looking to see if there exists a feedback tool. They're pretty much looking to buy a feedback tool at that point. So that made a lot of sense for me. It took some convincing from Bruno and Robbie because they had tried Google Ads. I don't know how or why it didn't work out. But so they didn't believe in me in wanting to start that.
So they wanted a marketing intern to actually do the job, and well, it seems you got the job done, right?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. But it like at first it obviously was pretty. The relationship with them was hard in the sense of like they were working together for like years and years, and I'm gonna join their little baby of an MVP. Obviously, it's not a big company yet, but they didn't know really what I'm gonna do yet. So I had to like kind of guys, you kind of took me in for marketing. Let me do marketing for now. And yeah, the relationship and trust built up pretty fast, especially when they started seeing the results with the ads. But also, another thing that I haven't mentioned is that our product has a built in distribution as well. And I think it's actually one of the really important factors as well. We have like a powered by Featurebase link on all of our customers' feedback portals and feedback widgets and changelog widgets and basically everything that's end user facing. We have that little powered by sign, as all basically these types of products have, and you can only remove it with an enterprise plan.
Are you tracking how much traffic is coming in from there as well?
I don't know the exact traffic, but we are tracking definitely how much we are getting customers from there, and it's like uh, it's like a quarter or 1/5 of our new customers.
That's very healthy amount, and it's if as time goes by, at the moment you have 600 customers. Once you get to 10,000 customers, well, it starts hyperscaling.
So if you have a product that could be done, that could have a built-in distribution, then why not? In my head, when I dumb it down really much, it's like essentially your customers are paying for you to market your product themselves. So they are paying you for subscription and they are marketing your product at the same time. So yeah, even sometimes when we're running ads and we have to calculate the CAC and LTV ratio, like what it makes sense, we sometimes even make the LTV, well, we are sometimes willing to spend a little bit more because we know that the customer, even if he doesn't pay, if he doesn't pick the highest plan, he will still be beneficial for us because they will help with the distribution.
So it's all about calculate, like it's a simple math equation, right? You need to understand what is your customer acquisition cost. Seeing that you don't churn your customers at all, this means that their lifetime value is like at the moment you can calculate that the lifetime value is like 2 years. Like, how long do you expect the customers to be on your platform? What's the lifetime value calculation there?
Eternally. But
When, when you're not sure, like you need to. It's very hard to make the calculations if you haven't seen customers churn, and then it's like, what is the lifetime value? Are you taking some somebody wrote in some book, or
No, no, we're just taking it from, I think, our chart mogul dashboard, and we're not looking at that number too seriously. But if we're like, we need to do the kind of the equation to understand how much we would possibly spend for marketing. So we rather take the conservative side of that. We're willing to take in a little bit less customers and at a sustainable rate, because we don't have any VCs forcing us to burn cash for customers. So yeah, we're taking the more conservative amount, so, from all the options. So yeah.
uh, if you would start today again, how differently would you do the first distribution part, getting to the first 20 customers?
Um, I would spend less time on like hacker news and first of all, I wasn't really for. I don't know at how many customers we had when I joined. Maybe we had already 10. So I only did so much. I only did so much of the manual acquisition of customers. I didn't do it that much, but I would definitely not spend too much time on some hacker news and Reddit portals in the beginning, because it's really hard to convince random people on the internet with with a Reddit post to try your product. I would scout out the perfect candidates that would be willing to adopt. Maybe see if somebody has complained about our competitor in Twitter, like maybe about their pricing, and if you like offer your product for a lot less, then go and reach out to them. Like, oh, by the way, I noticed that you are pissed off about them. Come to us. You can like literally get a lifetime deal. Okay, I wouldn't offer a lifetime deal, but you can get you can pay much less and get basically the same functionality. And we are like only starting the improvements. Like, put some bets on us.
How, as as you're saying that it's pretty much the same product. These are the first customers. How well do you think the MVP should be, like, well, how well the MVP should be defined, and how well should it work?
Yeah. So one of the biggest mistakes that we have learned from, or like the biggest lessons we have learned from the early days, was actually the fact that if there's a mature market, there are a lot of competitors in already waiting for you. Then like then I would say that the quote you said in the beginning of the call, like bad product with a good distribution is everything, it doesn't hold. uh, Basically in that case, it's always good product with good distribution. There's no other way around it. um, and uh, and so the MVP has to be pretty mature to even go and compete in there. Why we took so long in the beginning, even before I joined, to kind of start the feature-based scaling, was that the product was not mature enough. The MVP was not mature enough. So there are some table stakes that have to be made, and your product has to offer something more, or like at least as much, basically, that your competitors are so and so offering, to even somebody consider it. Obviously, the price has to be lower as well, but yeah, in short, the MVP has to be mature, pretty mature compared to like early markets.
Where do you draw the line of like a well-defined market, in the sense that you are kind of working in 3 4 different sectors with your product, and trying to now push also into the land of chat, and then the land of intercom and Zendesk, and whoever
Yeah.
those players are.
So I don't know. I'm just like throwing around different terms that I think are like mature markets and not. So in that sense, if I see a lot of competitors and high quality competitors, like they actually have like decent products, then like say you have like 10 to 15 competitors, and maybe 15 competitors and 10 of them have like a pretty neat products, then I would say it's a hard competitive market already kind of to enter. Okay, I don't know exactly how many you would have, but yeah, in comparison, the feedback tool market is pretty saturated in terms of the tool quality compared to the help center market, so to say. So when we built our help center module and I started doing research on the help center tools and documentation tools, I actually was pleasantly surprised that what the hell, like the help center tools are super aged, they look super bad, and yeah, like I wish we would have started with the help center, dude. Like there's not much competition in the sense that all the tools look bad, even if there's a lot of them.
Well, it's that's the part where if you start with the feedback part, you already now are getting the feedback. Okay, we need this. You
Yeah.
wouldn't have gotten there without the feedback tool. So
Yeah. Like as I said, everything went as it should have. So definitely that.
so now that you have 20 customers, what did you do next? And so 20 customers generated, I don't know, $1,000 a month or
Yeah. So $1,000 a month or something like that. Okay, maybe at like 1,500. So when I joined, actually, the first thing that I started doing is, okay, before I'm gonna spend any time on marketing, let's freaking make sure that our product is understandable. Let's make sure that all of the table stakes are covered, like that our customers understand even what is going on here, because they had not put much effort into it. They, as I said, they were in deep building the product, so they expected everybody to understand it. So I was like, yeah, I have a pretty fresh perspective because I just came in. I'm not technical at all, and I don't understand anything that you guys are doing over here. So I started talking with them, like, how does this work? How does this work? I built the documentation. I improved the documentation. I built like a initial onboarding trip campaign with emails. I kind of let them improve the onboarding flow so that people actually understand the value quicker. So before we do any marketing, I could basically see what the customer sees when they first come to your product. Granted, I wasn't the product manager yet, or like I'm not the product manager right now either, so to say. But my philosophy with everything, uh, like my a lot of my job is writing, and like with writing as well and everything else, is to, if you're not sure, dumb it down, like make it as simple as possible. Why should anybody spend their energy and brain cells to figure out what you have to sell them, what you want to sell them? Just make it really simple to them. And so that was my core principle for before even starting to do the marketing.
how did you even figure out what is a leaky bucket? In the sense that you came from high school, you had an intern job 3 months, and how did you understand that okay, this product is a leaky bucket? Because if you talk with people, even seasoned professionals, even they don't understand what is leaky bucket and what where are the customers falling through the cracks.
Yeah, so that's where the benefits of being unexperienced come in. You really, the only way you can start with anything is to start from the fundamentals, and I didn't have like any knowledge or anything, so I just did what the logical next step to do would be. So I started thinking from the beginning, like, okay, they want me to do distribution super bad. We need to get customers. But that, in my own head, I'm like, nobody will use that product in the way that it is right now. So the first step would be to fix that first, and then like start the distribution. I don't know how or what I came up or how I came up with it, but it's like the basic fundamentals. Like Lars from the other podcast said as well. Like it all comes down to, does it make sense? So like with product management as well, a lot of our like focus is like, just does it make sense? Okay, customers are asking for it, but does it really make sense? And does it really make sense to prioritize it right now? And we don't use any frameworks or anything like that. The only thing that we're actually looking for is the customer revenue from the upvotes, and everything else is just, does it make sense? And since we're all founders, we don't need anybody to say if it makes sense for them. We decide if it makes sense, and we just hope it's right. Yeah.
It's I just remembered there's a meme. What? Why do you want me to use citations? Why don't you just trust me?
Yeah. Uh, it's pretty frustrating sometimes with like if you're like debating in your team as well. Like we have different ideas and like we are clashing with each other sometimes. Sometimes, sorry, and yeah, like, dude, why don't you just believe me? Like, I have this, I believe this, and why do you need like some data? Because we don't really like going back to data if possible. Because with startups, the core problem is that if you don't have like a data team or anything like that, don't really have valuable data. Like, yeah, you can see some things and some things, but it actually half of the time it doesn't tell you actually a lot. I think in early stage startups, your better data is what your own thoughts and your own feelings.
So, in the sense, getting those features out, seeing if they work or what's the instant feedback kind of, and then just okay, didn't get any negative feedback and people are using it, just leave it there, right?
Yeah, and when you do it like enough, then you train your gut feeling of what's good, what's wrong. We have also made some features that we have deleted entirely, and we're going to delete entirely another feature next week. And yeah, but it didn't damage anything. It didn't slow us down or anything. It's just like a natural process of learning. But yeah, coming back to the distribution, when we had fixed the leaky buckets, then I really wanted to start doing the ads because why the ads? First of all, I had experience with Facebook ads. I had never done Google ads, but I knew that Google ads would be the right choice because I again fell back to the fundamentals and thought, what would be the most likely way that somebody is going to find us with, like, going to search for us, so to say. And it's not like Facebook or like Instagram, it's professionals that are searching for a tool in Google, because we were already like we started internationally. We didn't target Estonians or anything, so Google ads. And I had a little bit of experience with ads from Facebook as well. And so all of that platforms are pretty much similar at the end of the day. So I looked like at some Arab guy in YouTube that did like really good Google Ads tutorials, and I basically understand the core fundamental, which is really true with Google, is never listen to any Google's own advice. And yeah, Google makes you a lot of recommendations that are supposed to make your ads even better, but they make it
That's
worse.
just to make more money.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I basically started doing that. It was, I don't know, it's super simple actually. And what the ad strategy was, that strategy actually came from Bruno, the idea, because he had seen the startup world a bit closer at the time. And he said that we should focus on the tool alternative. So it's really at the bottom of the funnel. The ads cost you nothing basically, and all of the people that searching for the like tool alternative have super high buyer intent. So even higher buying intent than a person searching for a feedback tool is a person searching for a competitor's name and alternative, because they have probably tried that tool already and they were not satisfied, or they want to buy the tool and they're doing like a comparison research. So we started with a 1P competitor name, and it started working really well. And we basically immediately put 4 other competitor names, and for half a year we ran with those names until we had enough cash to go wider. Then we put even more competitor names into the ads, and then we started going up the funnel, like doing actually the now like then we had now we did the user feedback tool ads, and this cost a lot more in a sense, but they also bring a lot more customers, and it's so good. Everything works perfectly.
Did you build like the comparison or case study search engine optimization on your website before that, or you were just okay? This is our very simple web page with very simple product offering, and you don't have anything written about the competitor on your website, or were you search engine optimizing as well?
Yeah, we were search engine optimizing in that sense as well. I think even more than search engine optimizing, we were just creating a good sales pitch, because like landing on our own general marketing page is not gonna convince you like that we are a good alternative to that product. But if you're clicking on ad like a competitor alternative, and you're seeing the first H1 being like the best affordable competitor name alternative for startups, then like you're literally saying exactly what they're looking for. They are a startup, they find themselves from the title, and then your sales pitch from there can be really focused. So, and it was literally a double win. You it helps with SEO and it helps with converting ads. So yeah, definitely we had those separate comparison pages.
So where you are today, are you still pushing on the ads, or is anything else starting to creep up?
Yeah, so on the distribution and marketing side, also like on all on all domains of startups, I believe, but especially in the marketing, it's really easy to go and get lost in all the different channels that are possible and stuff like that. But the core idea and the fact is that you have to focus on one or two main things to do them well. And I think we got grasp of it pretty early because of like Y Combinator blogs and videos and stuff like that. And so we fortunately didn't start venturing too much into other channels. We obviously tested other channels because I think the whole first year was basically actually testing if there's another channel that would work, because you have to test it. But at the same time, Google fortunately was working for us, Google Ads. So we had one channel that was working already, and we started testing another channels. And we went through that bell curve of like doing simple Google Ads and then trying all that other stuff and then landing back on Google Ads and SEO basically. Uh, and we started content, and today we are in the place of nothing else really worked for us at that time. So we're doing still Google Ads. We have just gotten a lot better at Google Ads and scaled them a lot further. These are like 300x now compared to what we started with. And we also started adding Google to the mix. And the basic marketing strategy right now is that Google Ads give us the immediate gains and immediate returns, but they are not so sustainable, so to say, because you have to pay for each new lead, even though the equation may make sense. But and then the SEO and content will be the long term vision of like we're building it up, and it takes time because SEO is just, it takes so much time. But later we have like articles ranking, and we don't have to pay anything for those articles, and they're continuously bringing in new leads. So
And
that
creating your
would be
own
the
brand
mix.
and so on.
Yeah, but SEO, it's pretty hard to get started with, especially with this high competition and like.
How much, like, at the moment, how I am searching for products today is I use AI assisted searches. How much are you thinking of your website and your content that it is edible for AI and helps you in that sense? Or have you thought about that, or is it still in the future?
So it's probably still in the future because I'm pretty tapped in with all the SEOs and stuff like that, like panicking over it. And I see what they're thinking, and they're currently not thinking much because it's still like everything changes so quickly. And when you're an early stage startup, you can't really put much time into completing something that will change the next day. But what I'm doing is that actually it's not related to AI that much, but the Google core update changed a lot of the rankings, and now the forum stuff ranks pretty well. Like Reddit's and LinkedIn's and like the social stuff, because people trust other people. Because when there's a when you're searching for a feedback tool, or any other relevant search terms, a lot of the times the Reddit thread will be the second, literally second to search result. So how are you not gonna be mentioned there? You need to be mentioned there. And personally, you mentioned that you search with AI. I don't use AI for searching tools. I don't know why. I just don't trust the hallucinating. It will give me. It will not give the best answer. It will give me the answer of who has who ranks higher in Google, so to say. So what I do is I actually strictly search for things from Reddit. So I do a search query and I put Reddit behind it. I'm gonna read actual people's ratings. I'm not gonna read your company's blog of saying that their tool is the best. Obviously, you're gonna say your tool is the best. Yeah. So Reddit is. I think Reddit will be the future, and platforms like this in terms of visibility in Google. And AI, by the way, uses data from Reddit as well. So in the sense that answers your question.
Well, that's the part where how the company has to think about the content which is out there about them and is accessible by the AI. So there are two things which have come up in my brain lately. One is, how is the AI going to consume the company's content? in order to make it accessible for the general public. Well, all of the search engines, Bing is already like Copilot powered, and Google is going there as well. It will all be AI powered. So how the AI is consuming the company's content, and the second part is if we are content vomiting all over the place just because to be in the eyes, to be in the front of AI, how can we make it still consumable for the user who then comes to your website? So you have kind of two different websites. One is for the user and one is for the AI, or well, it's search engine optimization is kind of the same. There is so much content which, well, to be frank, on most companies' website, it's pure crap, just written to, oh, we are going to use 20 of these words which we want to have as the highest ranking. So you have a lot of content which the users will never read, but are necessary for the search engine to actually get them higher up in the ranking. What is your take on first making the websites AI consumable on and all of the content, and the second part, how do we make sure that the users can actually use the websites without?
So in that sense, as you already mentioned, basically, it's actually not a new problem. SEO worked that way long before. So you needed to optimize for SEO, and optimizing for SEO is basically reverse of optimizing for humans. And that's the biggest problem of like, do I include these words just there just to satisfy the Google spot, or do I build a website for humans? And do I write this content for SEO, or do I write it for humans? And we don't know how AI picks up yet or like different AIs pick up the search results, like the things that they recommend in different ways, I believe. What we are doing is, my mentality has always to be to build something for humans. I think if you build something for humans, and if it's intuitive to read, the website has a good copy, then it will also start ranking on search results. Essentially, if you're doing some sense of like some type of optimization as well. All optimization doesn't have to be like super keyword stuffing that content. So I think there's a super easy balance actually in the end, to make a good content that's helpful, but it also satisfies the search engine. But with websites, we don't basically do keyword optimization at all. That in that sense, we just craft what we think a good copy looks like. But with SEO like content, we do, and I think AI will just rank the content and pick up the content the same way that search engine does, at least for Google. Like the Google in Estonia we don't have it yet, but the Google already has that AI overview basically on the top, and it basically picks up the content kind of in the same way that it picked up the content before, but now it just summarizes those things in the top. So you still need all the basic things.
Yeah, that's the part where I'm a little bit starting to get lost. Lost in the sense that where are we heading with this part of the distribution, because the website is the biggest funnel, and how to make it work, and should you put a lot of content on your website, a little content on your website, the user would want kind of the website to be for them. We had this question. I raised it in our Tallinn product people group as well. Like, if you go to the website of those unicorn companies, you have to really, really know the problem you want to solve when you're going to the website, because it's kind of impossible to understand. Are they solving your problem? Are they not solving your problem? Is it relevant for me? Do they have all of the features that I need? Why is there so many features? And so on. So How do you combat that part?
So the unicorns have the luxurity. I don't know how to say it. The benefit of the benefit of like people basically know what Stripe does. Like they know the basics of Stripe. They know that they probably can do that stuff there because they have spent so much money in demand generation and other stuff like that. So like a good example is basically a tool called Surfer SEO, that I actually started. I switched from another tool to them, and they don't have a free plan, and they don't have a free trial even. Their free trial is that you basically connect your card, you pay, and if you don't like it, you can get a refund in during 7 days. So I would never do it with another tool. But since they had done so many podcasts, so many good content in everywhere I see, I already basically knew what I can do with them, and I trusted them, and etc. So that's the benefit of bigger companies, so to say, uh, that they don't have to kind of explain too much because they have done the explaining in all other channels. I don't know, your friend is explained to you what Stripe does. Obviously, ideally they would be more simple, but I don't have an opinion on that. But what we small startups have to do, we definitely have to, because we haven't explained anything to everybody to in different channels. We have to do that explaining on the marketing page because that's the main touch point of the sales funnel. And my opinion is to always like coming back to the product and everything else. If you can dumb it down, make it super easy for the person to understand what you are selling to them. Who are you selling to? Are they the target audience? And literally all the basics. And one of the most important things, even on the marketing page, as I mentioned, I don't trust a lot of content on the internet, so I go to Reddit and see what other customers have said. If I don't see a testimonial that like if I don't see any testimonials on the marketing page, I don't know if even users use that tool. Obviously, you can like pick those testimonials, like which are good. But if you have like a super famous guy that I know, especially saying a testimonial there, or like a big company leader, then I don't even care. That guy said that your tool is good, then it probably must be good. So that's a really important part on the websites as well. That's basically answers the question for me.
So just to start wrapping it a little bit up, what recommendations would you give for um, as you guys are very young and started this company 2 years ago when you were even younger? What recommendation would you give to a 20-year-old thinking of starting their own startup and doing things?
Yeah, so uh, I have I have a pretty good place to give that advice in some sense, and I have a twin brother actually, who works at a company, a really good company, and enjoys his job. But he's always similar to me, super ambitious and passionate, and would want to put that passion into his own thing. And so my main advice to him was, when we discussed it lately, was to not actually like don't quit your job if you don't have anything yet. It's a dumb move to do. Uh, the main thing that the startup comes down to is still people. So if you don't have the people that you will do the startup with, I think just don't do it. Get the people first. Get those people from the companies you work at. Get those from mutual friends, and because I couldn't do that startup without Bruno and Robbie, because I don't know how to build a good product. I don't know how to code, and as you kind of could see, they couldn't build that startup without me because they didn't have distribution. They didn't have anybody that would care about doing distribution. So you really need the core people. But just remember, as a note behind that sentence, is that you don't need many people. You need one people for each core activity that your startup does. So say you're building a fintech startup, you need three co-founders. One is the technical co-founder, one is the industry co-founder that knows the finance stuff, and the one is the, so to say, the sales or business or marketing co-founder that grows it. You don't need any more people. Okay, you can take them, but you don't need. So if you're building a SaaS startup like we, you literally need two people. You need one on the technical side of things and one on the marketing. Granted, okay, Bruno and Robbie were together on the technical side of things. That's also okay, but I wouldn't go over four people no matter what. So start with a team. Since you're young, in your 20s, you don't know nobody, so you're pretty in that sense. I fortunately had like classmates that were engineers, and we found a perfect fit. But if you don't have them, your best bet is to go work somewhere. Don't waste your time. Get skills, get knowledge, and get a professional network. My brother is working at a company. He's a product manager there, by the way. Like, not product manager, okay, junior product something. And he is working every day with engineers. And since he's not technical himself, like he doesn't know how to code, then when he wants to start a startup, he already has like a couple of candidates that he can pitch his idea to, and they can work together. But if you never went to work at a company and you don't have friends in that sense, then you can't start a startup. Like I in the being in the business school, I see guys every day telling their idea in class or I don't know where, that they will build an app. Yeah, they will start an app for this and for that, and every time I'm like, oh my god, do you even know how much building an app costs? Because you don't have any developers. Like, you say you're going to build an app, but you don't know what it takes. So uh, literally the main thing is to have a team in place. And if you're older a bit already and you're not in school, maybe you have to work already, don't quit your job the startup is not bringing you money. Get some sense of traction before you quit your job. Get the first like MRRs in. Get the feeling that okay, now you can quit the job. Like being being willing to take a risk and being stupid are like different things. Take risks smartly in that sense. We didn't take any risks. We basically feel the imposter syndrome or whatever it's called because we didn't actually take any risks. We were living with our parents. Some of us still are, so to say. So you don't have actually to take any risks to start a startup in that sense. Obviously, you risk with your time and stuff, but it's nothing. So to sum all that long rant down, if you're 20, get the right people around you. And what I forgot to mention is get the right skills. If you're the useless guy, nobody will build a startup with you. So if you're the technical guy, you probably have it a bit easier because you just need to find a marketing guy, and there are more people that are willing to do that. If you're the marketing guy, then you have to convince a developer to start a startup with you, which is a bit harder. But you need to be a good marketing guy because no developer wants to start a startup with you if you're a bad marketer and if you can't provide them anything. So these are the two things: the right people and right skills, and not too many people.
I'm really looking forward to like how far can you guys push the uh, 3-man company thing. It's getting to the point where it's starting to get really interesting. Of okay, how far they can actually push it. If for some reason, it, I don't know, it gets covered in I don't know, New York Times. You're you're for some crazy reason, God knows why. And then you're like, oh, the AWS bill comes in, and you're like, oh, we had to pay 10 or like 100K just for this month. And then you're like, oh, but revenue is really nice.
I don't know how many people. Okay, I don't know the exact number of people, but both WhatsApp and Telegram, I think they both had like I don't know under 10 people or like like few people, so to say. So, and they have I don't know how many end users, and okay, granted they have funding because they weren't charging anything, but the fact is that there are a lot of solo founders nowadays, even like Levels IO, who has built multiple businesses that run autonomously, generating him like 1 million ARR, stuff like that, multiple. So if there's three of us, why can't we build a business that generates multiple millions of ARR by just three of us? So yeah, in that sense, I think with how easy it is to build new products and the AI has been obviously a super important thing in our workflows and stuff like that to make us more efficient. But I think the industry is changing. I think you don't need hundreds of people building products and marketing them. I think you can do it with small teams. Not to say that we don't plan on hiring, we probably are, because yeah, but yeah, I think small teams have their own magic.
Any last thoughts to the listeners of Talent Product Group podcast.
Yeah, we didn't go over the idea part of the startup too much, but one of the core misconceptions, especially if you're a young person, is that you need to start with an idea. You need to start with an idea. You need to have a good idea. Like hell no, you don't need an idea at all. Okay, and don't put it into perspective of an idea. First of all, you need to have a problem. You need to have a problem to solve. Fuck the idea. You need to figure out the solution to that problem. So start with a problem. And even if you don't have a problem, because if you're 20, then you don't have many problems in the professional world because you have not worked yet, then just do what we did. Just go and copy some guy's startup idea, price it lower. Like what we call is the 80-20 approach. Build the 80% of the features and sell it at 20% of the price, so to say. You don't need large, complicated, innovative ideas like, I don't know, Wise did or Verif did. There are tons of startups that make super good money and they just copied another dude. So yeah, that's the best thing that I would recommend for a younger guys especially.
That's a good thing to, or nice thoughts to end this recording. Thank you very much, Markus, for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was super fun.
It was.
If you like today's show, please remember to like and subscribe, and see you next time.